After 5 movies worth of dinosaur mayhem, mostly on islands, there was only one real direction to take the Jurassic World series, into a world where man and dinosaurs coexist. Unfortunately, Jurassic World Dominion drops the ball big time on this juicy premise by having a complete identity crisis, and what results is a total mess of a movie. But even when things are messy, I gotta try to clean things up to be objective, which is why I'm gonna analyze Jurassic World Dominion looking at 3 of its strengths as well as 3 of its way more obvious weaknesses. This is the good and the bad in Jurassic World Dominion, and this movie does make it easy on me to find those weaknesses because they're apparent right away. Weakness number 1 is there's too many characters in this movie. Owen Grady, played by Chris Pratt, keeps playing up the superhero cowboy dinosaur wrangler in his introduction, with this scene foreshadowing just how powerful those mighty hands of his had become. Meanwhile, Claire Dearing, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, is introduced doing more of that animal rights and conservation stuff that Fallen Kingdom clunkily forced into her character arc, and this sets the stage for her arc in this movie, protecting Maisie Lockwood, who now lives with Owen and Claire. And unfortunately, the dinosaurs are entirely secondary as we're forced to endure very cringeworthy dialogue and painfully predictable family dynamics.
How's that? Like really corny.
That's so corny.
Can we keep that between us?
Can't promise that.
This movie is such a low-risk effort, and it's borderline childish. Remember when the raptors were super scary back in the early movies? Well, now the raptors are basically living on the protagonist's property and just creepily watching them. Blue is a full-on protagonist by now, and is not a threat to anyone, no matter how many times Chris Pratt says she is.
They won't hurt us, right?
Oh, you damn right she will.
Yeah, right. This movie's priority is to give Blue a heartwarming character arc, not to make the dinosaurs dangerous, and it embarrasses itself in the process 15 minutes in. And that's before we meet this poacher named Delacourt. And it's well before we learn that he works for a femme fatale in a Jurassic Park movie. And his mission is to bring these two to Biosyn, which was clunkily introduced in the newscast that opens this movie, similar to the one that opened Fallen Kingdom. Almost all of the material where dinosaurs and humans are interacting in the real world is limited to the stupid newscast bookending the movie, and shuffling most of the dinosaurs off to a sanctuary in Biosyn that might as well have just made Jurassic Park again.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's right. Jurassic World Dominion's about locusts for some reason. This movie has no clue what to do with that massive cliffhanger from the end of Fallen Kingdom, so what better way to distract us than bringing back the original trio from Jurassic Park?
Wow, this is so trippy.
Now, I'll always love these characters because of my fondness for the original movie, and even here, I think Sam Neill and Laura Dern are good. Though the locust plot is not at all what I want out of a dinosaur movie, these two sell the stakes well enough. But then there's this exchange.
And Mark?
It's over.
And with that, this movie takes these 2 legacy characters who were once an exercise in relationship subtlety and shoves them into a tired will they or won't they cliched subplot.
Ellie,
What?
I wasn't happy.
You were?
Do you guys have kids?
What?
And of course, the movie ends with them kissing. This is such lazy writing. It takes these rich and layered characters and just reduces them to stereotypes. But what should I expect? I mean, look at what they've done to Ian Malcolm. Jeff Goldblum still has some banger lines just because he's Jeff Goldblum.
And the only play now is to take the time that we have left and, just like we always do, squander it.
And squander it they do, because from here on out, Ian Malcolm is just a caricature.
You know there's gonna be a code?
I didn't know there was going to be a code.
And when the new characters meet the old characters, you can feel that this movie wants the sparks to fly. So then why does it sound like these people are just listing things they found on Wikipedia?
Dr. Grant, big fan. I read your book.
I know who you are. You trained raptors.
Yeah, I tried.
Where's the actual nuance? Where are the dynamic interactions? When does Dominion actually try to say anything meaningful? Well, it does with the women.
I have a lot of regrets.
But rather than let this scene explore Claire's arc over the course of the trilogy, it just has Ellie unnaturally give her advice.
What matters, I guess, is what we do now. Right? Yeah.
These two met like 5 minutes ago. They should be firmly in the small talk phase of their relationship. Like, if Claire had come up to me and said,
I have a lot of regrets.
yeah, that sucks. I have some regrets too. Have you seen the weather outside lately? It's raining locusts out there.
Yeah.
So we already have too many characters and some really on-the-nose dialogue. And then Dominion throws in new characters and gives them even more on-the-nose character arcs. Like Kayla is a mercenary pilot who doesn't care that much when she sees Maisie is being sent to Biosyn, but by conveniently meeting Claire in a bathroom like 5 minutes later, and just as conveniently being around to take part in a terrible car chase, her motivations change. After she and Owen inexplicably survive a plane crash into a frozen lake, she explains to Owen why she's helping them out now.
It isn't enough to do nothing.
What a crock of shit! I go through that character arc all the time. Just last week, I was sitting down prepared to spend the entire day on making this very video, and then my wife dropped on me, hey, my friends are coming to town, we're gonna go out with them. And I was like, what? I was gonna work on this video! And then I thought to myself, she hasn't seen her friends in a long time. Maybe she wants to see her friends, that would be good for her. It's not enough to do nothing.
You really love her, huh?
Yeah.
I get it. I like redheads too.
Now, my wife is not a redhead, but it still feels like this incredibly generic dialogue is plagiarizing my life. As a kid, I used to have a crush on Gillian Anderson, who played Agent Scully in The X-Files, my favorite show ever. And that's not going to be the last time I bring up The X-Files in this video, because I can't stay on track because Jurassic World Dominion can't stay on track. Like, rather than give the audiences what they wanted in this movie with more real-world dinosaur mayhem, we have the character of Ramsey introduced. He's less shoehorned in than Kayla was, but his arc might even be stupider.
We have an understanding.
I'm not you.
But that line has no weight because we never learn a single thing about Ramsey as a person. It's just force-fed to us. As for Dodson, he had some potential because of his connection to Dennis Nedry from the original. I mean, Dodson was in that movie. But the Jurassic World movies suck at villains. He is literally fine with destroying humanity for his own profit. And while I get that's a commentary on humanity as a whole, it makes for a very clumsy and immemorable villain, especially since he gets about as much development as Ramsey did.
He's basically a young me.
There's one character I haven't mentioned yet, and it's Charlotte Lockwood. No, I'm not going to talk about Charlotte Lockwood. I don't know why this movie has a dead character be so important to the plot of this movie. No, I want to talk about Henry Wu, who is strength number 1 in Dominion. I thought his characterization was too dramatically different in Jurassic World compared to Jurassic Park, and that continued into Fallen Kingdom, but here, I actually enjoy the despair that BD Wong injects into the character, the guilt and the trauma from all the horror he has brought on the world.
We don't want to cause a panic. We want control.
There's no such thing.
This one line nails the themes of the entire series in a delicate way that the rest of this movie botches with its themes and narrative threads. And better yet, there's real nuance to this performance, because even as he's seemingly unraveling from all he's done, that scientific curiosity perks up even against his better judgment. This is the most complex Wu has been in the series. This is a man who created dinosaurs, and at the end of Fallen Kingdom, the dinosaurs got out into the mainland, and now they're there with humans. They're interacting with them. They're likely killing many, many, many human beings. And all those deaths are on Henry Wu's conscience. So this finally feels like an earnest bit of character development. Except that's not the guilt he's feeling. He doesn't feel guilty that the dinosaurs have escaped and are killing people. He feels guilty about these locusts, which are somehow the main plot of this movie about dinosaurs that are out on the mainland. How the is this movie not about dinosaurs? That is weakness number 2. Why did Fallen Kingdom end the way it did if the writers of Dominion or the studio heads weren't willing to challenge the status quo of the series? I think they realized if they did challenge it, then we'd end up with a lot of dead civilians, and the only way to write yourself out of that is to then kill all of those dinosaurs somehow. But the series have been making these dinosaurs more and more anthropomorphic and fan-friendly, so they must have thought killing them would be unpalatable for the audience. So instead, they shoved the dinosaurs into Biosyn, and then introduced a completely unrelated existential threat in the locusts that the characters can overcome without hurting the poor, adorable, fan-favorite mascots that the once terrifying dinosaurs had become. And though the movie does have plenty of dinosaur attacks, when they're at Biosyn it feels like a rehash of the previous 5 movies, and otherwise it feels like the movie can't figure out what genre it wants to be. Like there's hints of the suspenseful, off-the-grid thriller, but it's so underwhelming, with Delacourt stalking Owen, Claire, and Maisie, this creepy bridge that feels like it should be symbolic with how often it's mentioned, but it turns out to just be a bridge, or this seemingly important lady who the cinematography and direction feel like they're implying there's more to her than meets the eye, but then her most essential line is yet another well-worn cliche.
Walk to the car. No, it's not a choice.
Such generic dialogue. None of this feels essential to this being a Jurassic World movie. And the only reason I remember this lady is because she's played by Glenna Davies, who is a regular guest star in The X-Files. Remember, I said I'd bring up The X-Files again. And since Dominion can't focus on what's important, why should I? Let me just stop in the middle here and ask any of you, would you be interested if I did content on the Terminator series? How does that connect to anything? Well, The X-Files usually stars David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, but David Duchovny left in season 8 and was replaced by Robert Patrick, who plays the T-1000 in Terminator. So let me know in the comments if you'd want me to talk about Terminator. And also, since I'm now off track, have you ever played the board game Dominion? It's actually a card game, but it's my favorite card game. Its only real flaw is that it has the same name as a really shitty movie. I should probably ask you guys now, if you're enjoying this video, to like and subscribe to my channel. I don't remember what this video is on, or what the channel is on. I think I talk about card games? Board games? The X-Files? Oh, no, Jurassic World Dominion, and how it switches from the off-the-grid vibe to this cold, sterile CIA spy thriller, or whatever you call something that forces Franklin back into the series. He was terrible comic relief in Fallen Kingdom, having one cringeworthy line after another to show just how in over his head and effeminate he was. He's like all of a bad script's worst tendencies rolled into one. Well, the writers learned their lesson apparently, because they now put him into the CIA, and suddenly the movie acts like he's a completely different character.
Where'd you guys call me from? Our guys will see if Delacour knows where she is. Our guys, not you.
Now, does this sound like the same person?
See? Not a T-Rex!
Like, it's basically become a Jason Bourne knockoff, all because Franklin is now working for the hilariously named Dangerous Species Division? This is so uninspired. At least have the Dangerous Species Division investigating Natasha Henstridge or something. But Dominion has no idea how to do anything right. It just cribs from much better movies. Once we're in Malta, all the aerial shots, the clandestine meetings, the shady individuals, the way the camera cuts between shots, it's now totally a Bond movie. And you know what every Jurassic Park movie needs? A femme fatale.
You boys didn't cook this up. Color me amazed.
I cannot believe that Siona Santos is a part of this franchise. This character wandered in from a completely different universe, a universe where characters just walk through a hail of bullets and are just evil for the sake of being evil. And she is part of an action sequence that is somehow both the most diverse action scene in the series and the least ambitious in the series, because it rips off literally every movie. Weakness number 3, the action in Jurassic World Dominion is awful. Like, not only do we have to deal with an overabundance of human on human action in the Malta sequence, or overuse of Chris Pratt hands and tuck and rolls, when dinosaurs finally get truly involved, like with the Atrociraptors, most likely named because of the atrocious CGI, the dinosaurs feel tertiary to Colin Trevorrow's need to replicate the Bourne ultimatum with Claire's rooftop escape. But spoiler alert for the Bourne series, Jason Bourne is a hardened assassin. Claire Dearing is Claire Dearing. Who does this movie think she is?
I don't know who I am!
And this is already a disaster without even mentioning the raptors chasing the protagonist in a car and on a motorcycle. Again, it just begs the question, are the dinosaurs being utilized to their utmost potential here? No. Even when Dominion dares to have a dinosaur kill a civilian in public, it plays like a joke, and it's never mentioned again how there are 2 Allosauruses rampaging through Malta. Instead, this is the kind of drama we are left with.
You good?
Yeah, I'm not shook at all. You?
This blasé attitude that characters regularly have when being attacked by dinosaurs is symptomatic of a script that had no care put into it. Oh, by the way, this is the worst dinosaur in this movie, and maybe in the series. Like, I don't think you could get any more blatant about forcing a big baddie into your movie for the characters to overcome. And yet the attack scene with this thing is lifeless. Like, I'm still wondering how it couldn't figure out where this huge platter of humans went when it watched them all walk in a line behind this car. Then later, it's so close to a meal, but it gets easily distracted by Jeff Goldblum, and not even Jeff Goldblum at his sexiest. If it isn't clear already, I hate this movie. In the last act, Owen goes to keep a promise that he made to a character early in the movie.
I am gonna get her back.
You made a promise to a dinosaur.
But what bothers me more is he's somehow able to find Beta in 8 minutes in this giant Italian facility he's never been to. And not only are his hands just magic powers at this point, but he's able to transfer those powers to his adopted clone daughter. The Chris Pratt hand thing used to just be a defensive posture that Owen took when enclosed with the 4 raptors he'd been training all of their lives. But now Maisie's just able to whip these out to tame Beta in 3 seconds flat. And embarrassingly, renowned paleontologist Alan Grant tries his literal hand at it as well. What has this series come to? Oh, that's right. We need our token final battle between the T-Rex and the other apex predator. And how could this scene be any less inspired? Well, let's have a T-Rex death fake out. At least they made my mentioning the Terminator earlier in this video relevant by ripping off Arnie powering back up at the end of T2.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Also, the T-Rex needed another dinosaur's help to land the killing blow, just like in Jurassic World. But that other dinosaur is a bright spot. It's a Therizinosaurus? Not really sure how to pronounce that or if that's even the name. But this thing's first appearance in Jurassic World Dominion is strength number 2. It's slow, it's tense, it's creative, it's incredibly well directed, it's suspenseful, it's visually fantastic. Its only issue is that it's Claire in the scene, so we know she's gonna survive. But still, this is very suspenseful, as is when she's being stalked by the Dilophosaurus. I'm shocked that they're able to wring out this much tension when Claire is the character in the scene, because we all know she's gonna survive. Really, it would take something so incomprehensible, so baffling, and really just so tonally out of sync with what viewers would want to see to ruin the scene, because it's that good of a scene.
You did. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
Yes, he did. With one squeeze of that hand around a Dilophosaurus' throat, Owen Grady manages to squeeze away any semblance of credibility that I once had. Because I promise you guys 3 strengths, I won't do it. I can't do it. I can't give this movie a 3rd strength. He choked a Dilophosaurus, and then he said, "God!" And I'm just gonna take that as my cue to exit. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. I know I didn't give you a 3rd strength. I know I promised that. I'm hoping to do a rankings video on the Jurassic Park and World series, and also a video or 2 on Jurassic World Rebirth in the near future. I am starting a new job soon, so my timing may be a little sporadic, but I didn't promise anything here. I just said I'm hoping. I learned my lesson when I said there would be 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses to Dominion. This movie sucked.